Okay, in this video I've got one of these Epsom ET2710 printers, and it's got a scanner as well. Lid's loose on it because I just pulled that off. And you normally throw these things in the rubbish, but this one was actually about $400. It's one of these ones with the large ink bottles and stuff. And I bought it because I was going to print out a heap of stuff, and I still haven't got around to it years later, but I have used the scanner an awful lot, and today it finally packed it in. Occasionally it makes this weird sort of, I don't know if it's really a whirring noise, some sort of noise, and the scanner will lock up for a bit and then it'll sort of come right again, usually just for a few seconds, 10-15 seconds, I don't know, it locks up, making this weird noise, sounding a bit like it's jammed, and then it comes right again. So it's, I think it's always done that since new, but just very rarely. But now it comes up with two red, I think the ink and the paper light, after sitting there doing not much at all. Let's plug it in and see what it does now. Now it's actually been off for a bit, I doubt it'll make any difference, but you never know with these things. I think it normally does a little bit of a movement. It does the old move the printer heads around, I think, in there. Yeah, that noise I don't think it used to make. It makes that weird buzzing sound, whether that's electrical or mechanical. Sitting there doing its usual, takes half an hour to hook the Wi-Fi up, is pretty normal with this thing, it's pretty slow. But yeah, it shouldn't be making that noise. I think this by now should have done something. I did open this up and saw the heads go across, but it's not even doing that now, I don't think. Problem with these things is trying to work out how to get them apart, given they're all clipped together usually. Is that the head? No. Yeah, there it goes. Two flashing lights. I guess I should look up online to see if that, if there's a manual or something to tell you what they mean. Yeah, don't use your ink below the lower line because you'll cook the heads if you don't have ink in it, the usual stuff. But let's see, I'm just having a bit of a poke around, see whether we can get this thing apart. I don't know what this panel does, but maybe it helps. If it even comes off, it probably needs to be unclipped a certain way as well. They really don't want you fixing their stuff. None of these things are particularly nice to work on. What have we got here? Some sort of bottle or filter or something. But we can't really get that cover off. Whoops. Oh, I have now broken it off, I think. Often the only way they'll come apart. There's something under there. Oh well, it hasn't had a service or anything, it's probably full of dust. I guess it's probably time I had a look at it anyway. Does that thing slide out? Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, it might be a sponge full of ink. Certainly looks like it's had ink going in there. Maybe when it's cleaning, that's probably a repository for the head cleaning ink. I did have to clean it once because I hadn't used it for ages. And it dried out, but luckily it cleaned itself, thankfully. I thought that might have been the end of it then. And usually they just dump into something like this and it just evaporates and dries out, leaving its residue in the pad there. Oh, we do have screws on the front. Maybe that's something to do with getting the top off it. Ah, well, it's actually an easy one. There you go. Something happened. Oh, the head's now moving at least. Doesn't sound the happiest, but it is moving. I wonder if something in this is worn out. Not impossible, I guess. Yeah, that's the thing that normally makes a noise. I knew something made a noise in here, like a paper feed. Oh, this is actually coming apart. That's handy. Hoping I'll rip the cables or something probably. There's no pin on that side. Yeah, that's making normal sort of sounds. Print head's moving across. And it still did its little fault thing. Well, at least it did more than last time and didn't make that horrible squealing noise. There's that noise. Definitely coming from the scanner, so at least I know that. How do you get into this scanner? I see a screw. Oh, that's a good sign, so maybe it is the scanner. I suspect it's the scanner. Let's pull that plug. How do we get to the other ones? Have a good chance to clean all the dust out of it. Amazing thing is I haven't got any ink on me yet. Normally you can't touch these things without getting coated into stuff. But I really wouldn't mind getting a scanner going again. Oh, I do have a separate scanner, but I don't think it's... These are not a particularly great scanner because they keep saying they need to cool down or some rubbish. The Canon I had before, just you could scan all day on it, didn't give a damn. This thing like is really picky. Once you've done a few scans, it's like, oh, I need to cool down, and then it delays and carries on, so it's not a particularly good unit anyway, but it does the job. I might have to dig it. I did keep one of those Canons somewhere, I think, just in case this thing turned out to be a pain. So one of those might have to come out at a time, and even though the printer's pretty well had its day. But they did have a good scanner in the Canon ones. So it's starting to come apart. Two screws left. I didn't even see those. I looked for screws, but of course I hid them down a hole. But that's why I take it easy to work out what holds it together. So it needs a good dust out in there. Now there's this cable. I think we've got to peel this cable off. Yeah, that's actually part of what's holding it, I think. There's another clip. Oh yeah, we go and clip that bit maybe. Now we're getting there. I've only got the glass off. Is that it? Is that all that holds this thing together? Pretty dodgy setup by the look of it. I wonder if it carries on. It can't just run on those gears, surely, is it? This thing just sits in there, I think. Grease still seems alright. It just rubs on these two upper bits and runs along here, I guess. Geez, they certainly made a pretty flimsy mechanism. I guess if we plug those bits back in, even the other connector I think is just our control panel. But it just sits there and makes this sort of whirring noise or something. And won't run sometimes, and then it comes good again. But every time it's done that, it's just come good again. I assumed it was some weird software thing or something. You just don't know with all the bugs and weird things these modern bits of equipment do, but it always came right until this time. I think it did that thing just before and then it turned off. think I've got it. Horrible. Get in there. Plug the controls back in. Make sure they're not shorting out on anything. Good way to rip the cable. Oh, something's flashing green. That's what I would have thought it would do anyway. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that's more like what it should do. Yeah, that. And I thought it did a reset of some sort. Oh, that's the noise it makes. Like it hasn't detected it's got back or something. That's exactly what it does. So I take it that motor's... Can't lift it out now? Of course I can't. Because it's pushing... Yeah, it's trying to reset itself or something. How did I get it out before? Oh, like that. Doing it the wrong way. So how does this thing detect that it's gone back, I wonder? But that's what it does. It makes that whirring sound. So, there's nothing there to detect on. Unless it detects on the top here. Oh, it's still flashing my damn lights too. So maybe it's not that. Yeah, that. So it is something related to that. Where the hell that thing is. Yeah, it's trying to go backwards. What tells this it's reached its end? Is it extra current drawn by the motor? I wonder if it's something silly like that. Are you on or off? What happens if I just lift this up? Head's going. And it's still trying to do its thing. What the hell detects its end is reached? I think the cable just hit on the heads or something. Okay, how do you... So that's the problem with this. And we're still got no damn red lights flashing. So you just got a motor controller, connectors to the motor, connectors to the light sensor. What the hell does it use to sense that it's hit the end? Oh, unless... Okay, if you're some smart ass engineer, how are you going to do this thing? Assuming you're not going to spend the money on a switch, so you're going to have to come up with some smart ass way to detect. Oh, and there's a bit white strip under there. Do they detect the white strip? What's the bet at some kind of... What's the bet they do something like detect the white strip under this bit of glass or something? Given that the thing wanders out a bit, does it wander out, go, well, that's not the glass, Well, that's not the white strip. I'll back up until I hit this white strip. And when I sense that, that's when I know I'm home. Maybe if I put that back in place, it'll now behave itself. I guess I'm probably just going to have to try and reassemble this thing, even if temporarily, because that may be all it needs at this point to get it to behave itself. I know what these bloody machines are like. Ah, dearie me. Okay, so we've got it roughly back together. Let's try it like that and see if anything happens. See if it does a proper reset. So it comes out a bit. Yes, that's resetting. But do we have another issue? Is it a print head issue? Well, I wasn't using the printer at the time, or I should have just been sitting there doing nothing, really. So it's going to be interesting whether that was a scanner issue or whether this thing's just done so many scans. They've probably got software in there to tell you, sorry, lifespan up on this unit. Looking a little bit better. Maybe that's all it was. Yeah, I think it just locked up as the Wi-Fi done its thing. So that's all it was. Something in here jammed. So it must use that white strip as its thing. So why sometimes does that stuff up? Is it either A, that it's something wrong with the white strip or the sensor, or is it that it's not getting back there? Is there something? I'm tempted to give it a bit of a lubrication or something if I can get it apart again easily, which I probably can't. Now that I've seen what a flimsy design it is, I'm not really surprised it jams at all. Is there anything down this end? It's got its bits of grease on there. I've got a gear, pair of gears. I mean, could it be a motor fault? I mean, maybe this always had something wrong with it from the start, or soon after the start anyway. Well, the grease is pretty good on it. I mean, could it be jamming on that bit maybe? I'm going to slip a little bit of grease in there just for the hell of it. I probably should use the Polyglide wherever it is if I can find it. Let's use our plastic grease. I'm going to leave that thing because that is one thing that isn't lubed. Maybe even this little pin here. Maybe we should put a bit more grease around about this end. We'll get running out of grease, I think. Could it need something on the actual, if we put a bit down in here, I guess. Now, where's this other? That's the bit that slots. I'm just going to lube up some of this stuff. There's got to be something weird going on here. Could it be, do we need a bit of grease on the gears? You wouldn't think so, but Could it be these gears are jamming somewhere here? Not sure. I should put grease all over them, but too bad. Really got nothing to lose with it. Other than if it collects a heap of dust or something, but I don't think it will. Yeah, a bit of fiddly to get the hinges on the back, but that wire just sticks back onto here. I probably haven't got it as straight as I should. It's not like this normally opens, so that doesn't matter too much. Might give a quick dust of some of the paper inlets and stuff where the dust has fallen down. These rollers seems to get black ink on it, or something gets black ink on it and puts it on the paper occasionally. Probably means these rollers and bits and pieces need cleaning. I think it's only water-based ink or whatever anyway, so I'll give that a bit of a clean. Are they actually rollers? Oh yeah, the roller, the paper must go through these white rollers and the black one below it. And yeah, there's plenty of muck on there. I think it would clean everything in that tape path. Or paper path, I should say, in this case. What am I talking about tape path for? This is where you start getting into the inky stuff that stains your hands. Can we rotate? Oh, we can. Oh, we can rotate those rollers by hand. Shame they didn't include a thing to prop this up with. It's not ideal. That might work. Certainly won't hurt to give them a clean. Rather dirty for something that rolls on mostly new clean paper, though occasionally I'll flip a sheet over, so maybe some ink came off that way. But at least it hasn't had any feed issues or anything. That roller's really dirty. Can we clean the other roller by... What is that? Is that damage? Kind of crazy that you would wipe your heads and stuff down there right where the paper goes through. I think it's more a roller issue, maybe it's on the other side after the heads. Looks like you can lift that bit up. Not sure I really want to do it, but I think we'll call it quits at that for now. Ooh, that didn't sound too heavy. Thought I'd just clean that. Let's see if it goes after that. Well, it's the first time I've had to pull it to bits at least. It's still on its original ink, though only just... There's about half the colour left in there, I think, but black is getting low. There's still a little bit in the bottles from memory. So it certainly does last a while. Not that I've done an awful lot of printing. That sounded like the scanner was going. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. I've scored a free screw. Must have been part of the scanner somewhere, but looked like I only remember getting 5 out of it. Maybe there was another one. But if that keeps it going a bit longer, I'll be happy with that. It has done quite a bit of scanning, even though it's somewhat annoying. And I better get it to print something again, I guess. Actually, I did print something that recently, so that's okay. Got to give them a run occasionally to keep the heads clean. But anyway, that seems to have got this thing to behave itself again. I'll give it another run with a scanner and see how it goes. Maybe lubricating it will make a difference, maybe not. But anyway, thanks for watching.